Hi, I'm Mande with Learn to Thrive with ADHD. I'm an ADHD life coach for adults. What we're talking about today is routines. Now, I recorded this video already weeks ago and meant to release it, but I hated it. When I really thought about it, the truth about why I hated it was I didn't feel like it was true. I didn't feel like what I had put together through the example of what I did as far as following my routines and what I've done with clients, helping them develop routines was the perfect routine. The truth is there is no perfect routine. Now stay with me. That doesn't mean you can't have routines. It doesn't mean you shouldn't have routines. We need routines in order to be mentally healthy. We need routine in order for our life to be what we need it to be. Right now, if you're not getting coaching, if you're not finding ways to help your ADHD, probably what you're dealing with is a lot of stress, a lot of overwhelm, a lot of anxiety, maybe even some depression, and feeling like you're not living up to your potential. And that sounds like a very bleak overview, right? But then there's also a lot of ways that you're doing really fantastic. And there's a lot of ways that you're really creative. But we just have to acknowledge this other side that we have to deal with because we're lacking in executive function skills in some areas, and it's causing challenges in our life. Now, one way we can take down some of those challenges is to create routines. I see a lot of anger on the internet from people with ADHD, and it really bothers me. And what I see is people being mad that they see advice given to them on what they should do to make their life easier, and they feel that's impossible for them. And I'm speaking slowly because I really want to articulate my words here. It is the thing that drives me the craziest, to be on the Facebook groups, on Instagram and things like that. And these people just like spitting venom because someone told them to manage their time. Is it difficult? Yes. Did they probably try it before? Maybe hundreds of times. But what they didn't have was what I'm going to share with you here. Okay, this is the key to it all. And you've maybe heard about it in other videos, maybe not. What happened is they wanted to follow that advice, or somebody well-meaning had given them that advice, perhaps to follow a calendar. That's one people get really mad about. And did I struggle to follow a calendar? So much. Do I still struggle some days? Absolutely. But for the most part, do I manage my time with a calendar? I do. And it makes my life so much easier. I know what's coming. There's so much less stress, so much less anxiety, so much less overwhelm. Do you have to follow a calendar? No, that's the point of this whole video. Do you have to follow the routine that I follow? No. Am I going to give you my routine and say that's the way you should do it? Absolutely not. The whole point is to tailor something that works exactly for you. Do you have to get up at 5 a.m.? They talk about the 5 a.m. club. No, you don't. This is such a pet peeve of mine where people just want to get so angry with people telling them exactly what they should be doing. That's the truth. That's the truth. And I don't mean should in like a shame way. I know we shouldn't be shoulding ourselves, but it is the thing that would help them. And what happened, just to kind of circle back around, what happened is they tried this advice at some point in their life. They maybe tried this advice 50 times in their life, maybe more. What happened is they were doing something new. And what do our brains want? They want everything to stay the same. They want to be comfortable. They want to already know what's going on. That just makes our brains happy, right? They're just trying to keep us alive, use as little energy as possible, seek pleasure and avoid pain. And what happened is when they tried to make that change to manage their time, to create a routine, to a way to clean their house, it was hard for them. Yeah, it was hard for them. I acknowledge that. It was very difficult, I'm sure. But you know what? It's difficult. And I am a person with ADHD. I just want to make that clear in case you're new here. But it is difficult. That is the facts. If you're expecting it to be comfortable and easy, and I think that's the trap that they fall into. They expect this advice to make their life easier. Well, guess what? Not at first. At first, it's going to make your life harder. Much. And you're going to have all kinds of feelings about how you're not going to be able to do it and how you're going to fail and how you don't want to do it and how it's boring and just all the discomfort is going to come up because it's your brain just saying, no, we were fine where we were. But your higher, that's your lower brain, right? Your higher brain wouldn't be trying to make the change if you didn't think that you weren't okay where you were, that you didn't need to manage your time better, get to appointments on time, be able to keep some order in your life, right? Your higher brain knows what you need. It knows what you truly want, But your lower brain is like, no, we're just going to keep everything the same. This requires less energy of me. I can just seek pleasure and avoid pain. But the thing is, we have to stick through the pain. There's a quote that says, if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. And if you argue for your capabilities, you get to create them. And that is so true. All these people that are so angry are arguing for their limitations. And guess what? That keeps you stuck. That keeps you disempowered. They feel victimized by a system that works for someone else. And that person, well-meaning, is giving that advice. I'm giving you advice right here, and this might make you angry, and that's okay. But I want you to understand, and I want you to have the truth, really. I want you to understand that you're angry because it's making you feel bad that you can't do it. It's not even true that you can't do it. What happened is you came up against the discomfort, and it might be shame, it might be anger, it might be feeling like it's unfair, that you have to work harder than other people. That's arguing for your limitations. Do we have to work harder than other people? I would agree, yes, we do. But how much time are you going to spend whining about it? And this video is going to be hard for some people. I'm sorry, but I've been there. I've been the one whining about why I can't do it. And then I stayed stuck in that loop of not being able to do it. Whatever we're thinking is going to create our results. And if you're thinking, I can't do it, I tried it before, it didn't work for me, great. Then what works for you? You have to keep trying. You have to keep making a new plan. And so with routines, and this is just going to be more of a truth video than anything, but I am going to give you a routines worksheet, and I'm going to help you create routines on your own. The best routine for you is the one that makes you feel good and not at first. That's the thing. We have to accept the discomfort and keep moving forward, keep moving through, keep working on the routine. Now, are you going to find some things that just don't work in your routine? You're going to think that you're going to get up first thing in the morning and take a shower. And then you're going to find, well, maybe there's actually other things I need to do before that. That's okay. We're just reevaluating, making a new plan, and moving forward. The problem is when people are trying to manage their time or organize, create a routine, or all these things. Problem is when they come up against that discomfort and then they recoil and then they quit. They might try again, come up against the discomfort, recoil, and quit. The discomfort is supposed to be there. It's like learning to ride a bike. I know that is so overused, but does it suck to learn to ride a bike at first? Absolutely. You're falling down. You feel scared. You're afraid you're going to get hurt. You're wobbling around. You're just making a muck of it. And then you learn to ride the bike a little bit better. And then you see some light at the end of the tunnel and you're like, wow, maybe I could ride a bike. And then you keep going and then you become proficient at riding a bike. That's what we want here. And this is meant with love. I mean, I get frustrated too, but I feel for these people that are just so angry. I understand, but they're victimizing themselves. And what I do with coaching is teach you to empower yourself. You cannot be empowered when you're in victim mode. That didn't work for you. Great. What does? Let's try again. I can't do that. You never will if you keep talking that way. It's harder for me. Yeah. Okay. And what are you going to do about it? You're going to work harder. That's the truth. Not to exhaustion. We learn to manage our minds so that we don't have to do that, right? I understand where they're coming from. If I was thinking what they were thinking, I would feel the same way. And I have felt that way in my life. So what is the perfect routine for you? Like I said, I'm going to give you that worksheet. You're going to decide where you need routines. Where are you feeling stressed out? For me, I started with a morning routine. There were things I wanted to get into my day. There was a coaching business I wanted to add on to the brick and mortar business that I already run and take care of my family and have time for it all. And so I started with a morning routine. What time do I want to get up in the morning? And then I went through the routine. Now these routines just make it so much easier for you because you're not decision making all the time. They have health benefits for you. You're planning in your exercise. You're planning in feeding yourself and taking care of your body and taking supplements you need to take. And you're making this all part of the routine. Now don't start huge. You're going to start really small with something you can do. I can't tell you how many clients I've worked with that do something very small and they're so proud of themselves. And then they take that skill of showing up for themselves every day in that way, and not every single day. They'll take a day off, 2 days off in a week. But how would you feel if you were doing something more of the time than you weren't? right now, something that you feel like you can't do. You'd feel pretty great about yourself. And what happens is they start being proud of themselves, and it starts getting easier and easier to do that thing. If you want to learn how to deal with that discomfort, we did a video last week on processing feelings. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to expect that discomfort to show up. Of course it's there. When we suffer, we make it mean something's gone wrong that we feel negative feelings. That's suffering. When nothing's gone wrong, it's just your brain's reaction to the situation. It's something new. It's going to be uncomfortable with the newness. It's something you weren't doing before. It's going to be uncomfortable doing that new thing. So expect the discomfort to show up. Invite the discomfort in. Take it with you doing the activity. I used to have such a struggle, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but I had this herbal tea cabinet. I like herbal tea, and I would just keep buying them and stuffing them away in this cabinet, and I never make the herbal tea. So dumb, right? I'm not calling myself dumb, but the situation's kind of silly. Like, I had so many in there. I had so many I didn't even know if I really liked them, and I wouldn't actually take the time to make myself the tea. And I just made that part of my routine, actually making the tea. And then we weeded out the cabinet for all the ones that were just kind of gross and got rid of them. It's only recently that I'll make myself herbal tea like 2 or 3 times a day. It was uncomfortable at first. My brain didn't like it. My brain didn't want to wait for the water to boil. It didn't want to let the tea bag steep for 5 minutes. It didn't want to come back and put the sweeteners in or the cream or whatever I'm doing. It was a multi-step process that my brain didn't like. And so I just avoided it. Yet I kept buying the tea. But there was that discomfort of like taking the steps, and it's taking too long, and I've got to remember to come back, and I don't want to just stand there and watch the tea seep. It's just not fun for me. It's a super silly example, but I'm sure you can think of something like that in your life. So what do we want to get done? Let's put it into a routine. You can have a morning routine. You can have a cleaning routine, and do not have them all at once, but I'm going to name them off. Morning routine, cleaning routine, work routine, whether you work at home or whether you are out. Evening routine, bedtime routine. It's just whatever you need. It's unique to you. I have a routine for taking care of my animals. I have rabbits, I have chickens, I have barn cats, we have house cats, we have a dog. We have a lot of animals. So I have a routine for taking care of them that just makes it so much easier. It makes it faster, makes it where I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't have to make new decisions all the time. Are you going to get bored with your routines? If your routine's boring, make it more exciting. Again, we're not victims here. We're not a slave to our routine. We get to make it whatever it is. If it's boring, you're not being fun. Make it more fun. Make it more enjoyable. That's a good point too. Make a routine you enjoy. Life does not have to be drudgery. Make it how you want to make it. Make it what works for you. If it doesn't work, reevaluate, replan, try again. Don't quit. You fail when you quit, and then you get angry with yourself, with the world that's giving you this advice. So you'll find the link for the worksheet in the description. I really did some research and really lined it out in the blog post. If you want to check that out on learntothrivewithadhd.com, that will have come out before this video. Routines are so important. I really want you guys to start implementing some in your life. It will make something that's difficult, dealing with your ADHD, so much easier, but not at first. All right, guys, I will see you next week. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.